Hi, and welcome to the video on working with time. By the end of this video, you should be able to find the time difference between two specific times, like you'd want to know how many hours you worked between the start and the finish. So let's take a look at an example. How many hours and minutes are between 10 a.m. and 4:30 p.m.? Now you might have a strategy for yourself that you would use for this situation, but I'm going to share with you mine. If I wanted to work out how many hours and minutes there were between 10 a.m. and 4:30 p.m., I would like to think of it between these two times. But what I would then do is think about midday. Now the reason why I think about midday is because working out between 12 and 4:30 is really quite simple. It's just 4 hours and 30 minutes. So then all I would have to do is work out the time difference between 10 and 12, which is 2 hours, and add it on, and that would give me my total time. So in my head, I would say that there are 2 hours between 10 and 12, and then there's 4.5 hours between 12 and 4:30. So that when I add them together, I get 6 hours and 30 minutes, or 6.5 hours. Let's try that strategy again, but with two different times. Let's say I want to know the difference between 6:30 a.m. and 1:15 p.m. Well, there's a large amount of time between those two times, so I'm going to break it up, and again I'm going to think about midday. I'm going to think about 12 o'clock. Because the difference between 12 and 1:15 is just 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's a really easy one to do. So if I can work out how much time there is between 6:30 and 12, that'll make my life a lot easier. But that might be a bit of a struggle too sometimes. So what I like to do first for 6:30 is to work out how much time there is between 6:30 and the next hour, which is 7 p.m. See, this one's a relatively easy one. It's just 30 minutes. Now all I have to do is work out how much time there is between 7 and 12, which just so happens to be 5 hours, and then I can add them all together to work out the total difference. So I would add the hours together, that's 5 and 1, that's 6 hours, and then I'd add the minutes together, 30 and 15, to get 45 minutes. So the time difference is 6 hours and 45 minutes. Let's try you to try one. What's the time difference between 1:50 p.m. and 3 a.m.? Pause the video and try it for yourself. Okay, I hope you tried it yourself, so let's take a look at my strategy. I need to know the difference between 1:50 p.m. and 3 a.m. So I'm going to break it up with the 12 o'clock that's in the middle. In this case, it's 12 a.m. The difference between 12 and 3 is just 3 hours. Really easy to work out. Now I'm going to work out the difference between 1:50 and 12 and add it together. I'm going to go to the nearest hour, which is 2 o'clock. And all I have to do is add 10 minutes to get to 2 o'clock. Now I'm going to go from 2 to 12, which is going to be 10 hours. Now to work out the total, I add them all together. So I'm going to add my hours together and get 13 hours, and put my minutes on the end, which is 10 minutes. 13 hours and 10 minutes. So what should you write? Well, a heading of time difference is a good idea, as well as the three examples and their answers. I also suggest writing down at least one of the solutions that I gave with the working out, just so that you might get a handle on how you would go about using the strategy. And that's it. Hopefully now you have a strategy on how to find the difference between two dimes, and you can practice that throughout your examples on the next lesson. Good luck.